Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we'll be exploring the world of Federico García Lorca.
One of Spain's most celebrated poets and playwrights.
Exactly.
But we're not just going to skim the surface.
No, we are not.
We're going to grab our metaphorical scuba gear and dive deep into the depths of his creative spirit through the lens of the Enneagram.
Ooh, I like that.
Specifically,
That's the social 4 type.
So for those of you who may not be super familiar with the Enneagram,
Okay.
just imagine a house built on this foundation of
Right.
raw, vulnerable emotions.
Yeah.
And for the social 4, that foundation often feels a little bit shaky.
It does.
So it leads them on this lifelong quest for authenticity, for recognition, and for deep connection.
Absolutely.
They crave being seen and understood for their
Yeah.
unique and often intensely felt inner world.
And you know what's so fascinating? When we look at Lorca's life, you can practically see these social 4 traits leaping off the page.
Oh, yeah.
Even from a young age, he was drawn to every art form imaginable.
Music, drawing, theater, poetry.
Wow.
It's almost like he was trying on all these different hats,
Yeah.
searching for the perfect fit to express that symphony of emotions playing out inside of him.
It's almost like he felt this urge to carve his own path.
Yes.
To break free from those cookie-cutter molds of
Totally.
societal expectations.
Societal expectations, exactly.
And it makes you wonder, can you relate to that feeling of needing to express your authentic self, even if it means standing out from the crowd?
Absolutely. And, that yearning for authenticity, for breaking free,
Yeah.
that echoes throughout his work as well.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Think about those fierce, independent characters like Mariana Pineda defying those social norms, or Yerma,
Yeah.
consumed by her longing for a child,
Yeah.
wrestling with societal pressures.
Right.
It's as if Lorca was giving a voice to his own internal struggles through his characters.
Wow.
And it makes them so relatable.
Yeah.
Even centuries later.
It's almost like he was saying,
Yeah.
hey, I see you.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
And using his art to kind of explore those raw,
Yes.
often painful experiences of not quite fitting in.
Yeah, and what's really amazing is how he translated that inner turmoil into such captivating art.
I was just about to say.
This is where Lorca's exceptional sensitivity comes in.
Okay.
The social 4 possesses this almost supernatural ability to transform their inner world into art that punches you right in the feels.
Ooh, I like that.
Their work just has this way of reaching across time and space,
Yeah.
grabbing you by the heartstrings, making you feel deeply seen.
With Lorca, it's not just about feeling seen. It's about feeling everything.
Oh, it is.
It's almost overwhelming in the best way possible.
Oh, absolutely.
The way he paints pictures with words, the powerful metaphors,
Yeah.
the raw intensity of his emotions.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Take Romancero Gitano, for example.
Yeah.
He dives headfirst into the world of the gypsies,
Okay.
which is a marginalized community,
Right.
and infuses their stories with his own well of emotions.
Oh, wow.
It's this incredible fusion of folklore and personal experience,
Wow.
creating this hypnotic symphony of sound and imagery.
That's beautiful.
It is.
And then there's Poeta and Nueva York,
Yes.
which practically vibrates with this feeling of disillusionment toward modern life.
It does.
And the imagery he uses is
striking.
so striking,
Yeah.
almost violent in its beauty.
Yes.
You can practically taste the alienation he felt walking those concrete streets.
Precisely. And you know what it all points back to?
What's that?
This core aspect of the social 4.
Okay.
The need to connect,
Right.
to share their soul with the world,
Yeah.
and be met with understanding.
And isn't there a shadow side to all of this?
There is.
Like a darker thread woven through that social 4 tapestry.
That's right.
What is it?
Shame.
Oh, shame. And trust me, it played a huge role in shaping both Lorca's life and his art.
Okay, so let's dive into this a little bit.
Okay. When we talk about shame, especially in the context of the social 4,
Right.
what exactly are we talking about?
Think of shame as this persistent whisper in the back of the social 4's mind,
Okay.
constantly telling them they're flawed, unworthy,
Right.
fundamentally different in a bad way.
Okay.
And it's a feeling that can manifest in so many ways, often leading them to build walls and defenses to protect their very vulnerable hearts.
And how did that play out in Lorca's life?
Well,
Did that sense of shame actually influence his choices or behavior?
absolutely. If you look closely, you will find evidence of his shyness,
Okay.
his introspective nature, It's almost like he retreated into himself, using those qualities as shields against a world that felt judgmental and harsh.
Interesting.
And despite achieving phenomenal success,
Wow.
there are accounts of him constantly battling feelings of inadequacy.
Really?
Comparing himself to other writers and finding himself wanted.
That, let's be honest, is something so many of us can relate to.
It is.
That nagging feeling of never being quite good enough, no matter how much you accomplish.
Yeah.
What is it about success that often fuels those feelings of self-doubt?
That is a profound question.
Yeah.
And one that speaks to that complex inner landscape of the social four.
Right.
But there's another layer to Lorca's struggle with shame.
Oh.
His sexuality.
Oh, wow.
He lived in an era where societal expectations around sexuality were incredibly rigid.
So how did he navigate that tension between his own desires and the weight of those expectations?
It wasn't easy. You can sense the fear of rejection, the weight of societal stigma, all adding to this underlying sense of shame that permeates so much of his work.
So how did this manifest?
Yeah.
Where can we actually see the fingerprints of shame embedded in his creative output?
If we peel back the layers of his writing, we see that shame isn't just a theme, it's woven into the very fabric of his storytelling.
Ooh, that's a great place to stop.
Yeah.
We'll be back after a short break.
Sounds great. And when you do that with Lorca, you discover that his portrayal of shame is far from subtle.
Oh, yeah.
Many of his characters are outsiders, those living on the fringes of society, grappling with rejection and prejudice.
Okay.
It's as though he was projecting his own feelings of otherness onto them, breathing life into those experiences through his art.
It's like he's holding up a mirror to society,
Yeah.
forcing us to confront those uncomfortable truths about how we treat those who are different, those who don't quite fit the mold.
Yes.
It makes you wonder how much of his own struggles, his own fears, did he pour into those characters?
It's a question that invites us to dig deeper, to explore the fascinating interplay between the artist's life and their art.
Right.
But the exploration doesn't end there. Take a look at the recurring themes in his work: solitude, unrequited love, the ever-present shadow of death.
Okay.
These aren't just random plot devices. They're intricately linked to that core wound of shame, that yearning for acceptance that seems perpetually out of reach.
It's as though he's using these themes to explore the raw, universal experiences of human suffering.
Yeah.
Specifically, the kind of suffering that arises from feeling like you don't belong.
Yes.
Like you're standing on the outside looking in.
Exactly.
And it's not just the themes. His use of symbolism is incredibly powerful, too.
It is.
It's almost like a secret language he uses to communicate directly with the subconscious.
You're right. His work is saturated with symbolism, and it's far more than just aesthetic decoration.
Right.
Consider those wilted flowers, those somber dark colors, those enclosed spaces.
Yeah.
They're not just random choices. They're visual metaphors, physical manifestations of the weight of shame, of that feeling of being trapped, stifled, unable to fully blossom.
It's like he's inviting you into the character's mind, letting you feel the weight of those unseen burdens pressing down on them.
Yes.
But here's the interesting thing about the social four.
Okay.
Despite their tendency towards introspection,
Okay.
their almost magnetic pull towards their inner world, they also have this intense craving for recognition.
They do.
It seems paradoxical,
It does.
the simultaneous desire to withdraw and be seen.
Yes.
But I guess it's a key part of understanding the complex landscape of the social four.
It is.
Like, they long to bridge the gap between their internal world and the world outside.
Exactly.
They have their unique perspective,
Yeah.
their emotional depth recognized and appreciated.
Fix it.
So it's not just about seeking validation for the sake of ego. It's about this deep-seated need to connect,
Yeah.
to share their truth and be met with understanding.
Yes.
It's like they're saying, see me not just for who I appear to be on the surface, but for the depths of my soul.
Exactly. And for Lorca, this yearning for recognition manifested in various ways.
Oh, really?
He wasn't a solitary figure hiding away in an ivory tower.
Okay.
He actively engaged with Spain's vibrant cultural scene,
Interesting.
collaborating with other artists,
Wow.
pushing the boundaries of theater and poetry, constantly striving to make his unique voice heard.
It's like he was this walking contradiction.
Yeah.
This shy, introspective soul who also craved the spotlight.
Right.
Who wanted his art to shake people awake, to make them feel, to make them think.
Yes.
It makes you wonder, is that inherent tension, that push and pull between opposing forces? part of what fueled his creative genius.
It's certainly a compelling question and one that points to the fascinating complexities of the creative spirit.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about one of his most celebrated works,
Okay.
Romancero Gitano.
Yeah.
You could argue that it is a social form masterpiece in its purest form.
It's interesting you say that because when I think about Romancero Gitano, I immediately think about the vibrant imagery, the passionate storytelling, the way he captures the spirit of the gypsies with such raw intensity.
Yeah.
What is it about this particular work that screams social for?
Well, it's more than just the surface beauty of the language.
Okay.
Consider the symbolism embedded within the narrative. The gypsies themselves represent this untamed authenticity, a freedom of spirit, a deep connection to nature, qualities that Lorca, with his social force sensibilities, likely admired,
Yeah.
maybe even yearned for.
And those themes he explores,
Yes.
love, passion, tragedy, they resonate so deeply with the heightened emotional intensity that defines the social four experience.
They do.
It's like he's taking these universal human experiences and amplifying them,
Yeah.
making them feel both familiar and extraordinary.
Exactly. And let's not overlook the gypsies' social status as outsiders.
Right.
Their marginalization, their struggle for acceptance within a society that often rejects them,
Yeah.
mirrors Lorca's own internal battles with feeling different,
Right.
with yearning for understanding and belonging.
It's almost as if he's using the gypsies as a metaphor for the social four experience itself.
Yes.
This constant push and pull between wanting to belong and needing to express their unique individuality.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's another element woven throughout Lorca's life and work.
Yes.
This sense of duality, of being caught between two seemingly opposing forces.
Ah, yes. The tragic dualities. These are what lie at the very heart of Lorca's genius and what make him such a captivating figure to explore.
Tell me more about that. What are some of these dualities that you see playing out in his life and his work?
Well, on the one hand, you have this deep-seated yearning to belong, to be embraced by society, to find a place where he truly fits in. But simultaneously, there's this almost rebellious need to stand out, to challenge convention, to let his freak flag fly, so to speak.
Right.
This constant tension between conforming and expressing his true self is central to the social four experience.
So it's not just about fitting in or standing out. It's about navigating that constant push and pull between the two.
Yeah.
It's about finding a way to be both a part of the world and apart from it.
Yes.
To embrace both your individuality and your desire for connection.
Yeah.
It's a delicate dance for sure.
Precisely. And you see this duality reflected so beautifully in Poeta in Nueva York. This collection embodies that feeling of alienation, that sense of being lost and adrift in the relentless chaos of modern life. But at the same time, there's this deep yearning for something more authentic.
Right.
A return to nature, a connection to tradition and roots.
It's like he's caught between two worlds, straddling the line between the harsh realities of urban existence and the romantic ideals of a simpler, more connected way of being.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if those feelings of displacement were heightened because of his social for nature, his sensitivity to the disharmony and superficiality he perceived in the world around him.
It's a fascinating question to ponder, but what's truly remarkable is that Lorca didn't shy away from these uncomfortable truths, from these complex emotions.
Oh, yeah.
He embraced them, explored them, and ultimately transformed them into art that continues to resonate with audiences today.
And that brings us to another crucial element of Lorca's work, one we've touched on briefly but haven't fully explored.
Okay.
His profound connection to nature.
Yes.
When I read his work, it's almost impossible to miss the way nature weaves its way into his stories, his poems, his plays.
It does.
It's not just background scenery. It's practically a character itself.
And this deep connection to nature, this almost spiritual kinship, isn't just a coincidence.
No.
It's another hallmark of the social four personality.
Oh, really?
They often find solace, inspiration, and a sense of belonging in the natural world, a world that feels free from the constricting expectations and judgments of society.
It's like they see a reflection of their unauthentic selves in nature's raw, unfiltered beauty,
Yes.
in its cycles of growth and decay, and its constant state of flux.
Yeah.
It's a place where they can truly be themselves without pretense or the need to conform.
Precisely. And for Lorca, nature wasn't just a source of inspiration, it was a powerful metaphor for the human condition. He used natural imagery to explore the cycles of life and death.
Right.
The raw, untamed emotions that often lie hidden beneath the veneer of civilization.
Yeah.
The deep primal forces that drive us all.
You can practically feel the pulse of nature beating beneath the surface of his work.
You can.
But before we get completely swept away by the tide of Lorca's genius,
Yeah.
let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
How do all these threads we've been weaving together,
Right.
the social four personality, the search for authenticity, the impact of shame, the connection to nature,
Yeah.
how do they all come together to create the tapestry of Lorca's artistry?
That's a question that invites us to consider the beautiful complexity of the creative process, the intricate interplay between who we are as individuals and what we create.
Right,
It's a reminder that art isn't created in a vacuum.
right.
It's a reflection of the artist's soul, their experiences, their fears, their joys, their struggles.
And in Lorca's case, his art is a testament to the power of vulnerability,
It is.
of embracing those raw, messy emotions that so many of us try to hide or deny.
Yeah.
He shows us that it's in those depths and those shadowy corners of the human experience that we often find the most profound beauty and truth.
You put it beautifully, and it's that fearless exploration of the human condition, that willingness to confront the darkness alongside the light that makes his work so enduring, so relevant, so deeply moving.
It makes you want to dive even deeper, to peel back every layer, to decipher every symbol, to unravel every hidden meaning.
It does.
But before we go full-on literary detective,
Yeah.
let's shift gears a bit and explore another facet of Lorca's genius. Welcome back to our deep dive, everyone.
We've been on quite a journey, haven't we?
We have, from unraveling the mysteries of that social four personality to exploring the depths of his creative process. It's been fascinating.
It really has.
Exploring what makes Lorca such a captivating figure.
It's true. And in this final part of our deep dive, we're shifting our focus to Lorca's legacy,
Okay.
to the enduring impact he continues to have on artists and audiences across generations and cultures.
It's amazing to think that even though his life was tragically cut short, his work continues to resonate so deeply,
It does.
to speak to us with such urgency and power.
It really does.
It's like his voice somehow managed to escape the confines of time and space,
Yeah.
echoing through the decades,
Yeah.
finding new ears, new hearts, new minds to captivate.
It's a testament to the universality of his themes, to his ability to capture those raw human experiences that connect us all, regardless of where we come from or when we live.
Love,
Yeah.
loss, longing, the search for identity,
Hmm.
the struggle against oppression.
Yes.
These are timeless themes that Lorca infused with his own unique blend of passion,
Yes.
vulnerability, and poetic brilliance.
Absolutely. It's like he found a way to bypass the logical mind and speak directly to the soul,
Yeah.
to those primal emotions that reside deep within us all.
But there's more to his enduring legacy than just the timelessness of his themes.
Right.
What else contributes to this enduring fascination with Lorca? Why do his words still hold so much power for us today?
One key reason is his raw emotional honesty.
Okay.
Lorca wasn't afraid to be vulnerable, to lay bare his own pain and struggles for the world to see, and in doing so, he gave us permission to do the same, to embrace our own messy, complicated humanity.
It's like he's saying, hey, it's okay to feel deeply, to
Yeah.
hurt, to question, to doubt.
Yes.
It's all part of being human.
Exactly. And that kind of authenticity, that willingness to embrace the full spectrum of human experience,
Yeah.
that's incredibly powerful. It makes us feel seen, heard, and understood on a deeper level.
Precisely. But let's not forget about his mastery of language.
Yes.
Lorca's poetry is an absolute feast for the senses.
It is.
It's brimming with vivid imagery,
It is.
evocative metaphors, and a musicality that's almost hypnotic.
It's true.
It's as if you can hear the rhythms and melodies of his native Andalusia woven into the fabric of his words.
You can.
When you read his work, it's not just about understanding the meaning of the words. It's about experiencing them, feeling them wash over you like waves of sound and emotion.
Yes. And then there's his theatrical innovation.
Oh, right.
Lorca wasn't content with simply following the rules of traditional Spanish theater. He pushed boundaries, experimented with surrealism, symbolism, and a heightened sense of theatricality. His plays aren't just stories to be passively observed, they're experiences to be fully immersed in.
They're immersive, for sure. I've seen a few productions of his plays, and they always leave me feeling breathless,
Yeah.
emotionally drained in the best way possible.
Yes, it's like you've stepped into another world, another dimension of reality where the boundaries between the conscious and the subconscious blur and the raw power of human emotion take center stage.
That's a perfect description. But let's shift gears for a moment and delve into the craft of Lorca's genius. What specific techniques did he use to achieve this level of emotional power in his work? What can we learn from him, even if we're not poets or playwrights ourselves?
Well, one key technique is his masterful use of symbolism, which we've touched on throughout our deep dive.
Yeah.
Every image, every object, every color in his work carries a deeper meaning,
Right.
often connected to those core themes of shame, desire, and the search for authenticity.
It's like he's giving us a secret language to decode, inviting us to become active participants in the creation of meaning, to delve beneath the surface and uncover the hidden layers of truth embedded within his work.
Exactly. And it's not just about decoding the symbols, it's about feeling their emotional resonance, allowing them to speak to us on a subconscious level. But symbolism isn't the only tool in his arsenal.
What else?
Another technique he employed masterfully is juxtaposition.
Okay.
He often placed contrasting elements side by side, light and darkness, beauty and ugliness, love and violence,
Wow.
to create a heightened sense of drama, tension, and emotional complexity.
It's like he's holding up a mirror to the inherent duality of human nature, the constant push and pull between opposing forces that shapes our experiences and defines who we are.
Precisely. And then there's his masterful use of rhythm and repetition. Lorca's poetry and plays are full of recurring motifs, phrases, and even entire scenes that are repeated and varied throughout the work. This creates a sense of ritual, of inevitability, of the cyclical nature of life and death, and it amplifies the emotional impact of his words tenfold.
It's like a heartbeat pulsing beneath the surface of the text, driving the emotional intensity and drawing us deeper into the world he's created.
You put it beautifully. These are just a few of the techniques that Lorca used to weave his magic to create art that transcended the boundaries of language and culture and touched the very core of the human experience.
And those techniques, those tools of the trade, aren't just for poets and playwrights.
No.
They're for all of us, whether we're writing a song, painting a picture, crafting a story, or simply trying to communicate more effectively in our everyday lives. Paying attention to symbolism, using juxtaposition to create tension, and incorporating rhythm and repetition can elevate our creative expression to a whole new level.
Absolutely. So as we reach the end of our deep dive into the world of Federico Garcia Lorca, what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What can we learn from this journey we've taken together?
I think the key takeaway is this. Lorca's legacy reminds us that art has the power to transcend boundaries, to connect us to our shared humanity, and to inspire us to live more authentically, more courageously, more expressively.
It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, even when confronted with shame, oppression, or the complexities of the human heart, the creative spirit can triumph and create something truly beautiful, meaningful, and enduring.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart and soul of Federico Garcia Lorca. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
And remember, this is just the beginning. Lorca's work is a vast and rewarding ocean waiting to be explored, so go forth, dive in, and discover the magic for yourself.